These aren't cults from history books. They're active right now. And some of them are hiding in plain sight. Most people think cults look a certain way: a compound, a charismatic leader on a stage, people in matching clothes cut off from the world. That's not what these are. Some of them look like restaurants. Some of them look like self-help seminars. Some of them look like a church service. And that's exactly what makes them dangerous. Before we get into these, one of them brands women with a hot iron and holds compromising photos as blackmail. One has its leader issuing orders from a prison cell right now. And one of them, you've probably walked past without ever knowing. Stay with me. The Order of Nine Angles has no compound, no leader, no address you could look up. It lives entirely online. Encrypted channels, anonymous forums, decentralized cells. Founded in Britain in the 1970s, it blends neo-Nazi ideology with occult ritual. Its core texts don't use violence as a metaphor. They instruct members to commit real crimes as a form of spiritual development. They call it an insight role. The idea is that committing an act of violence prepares you spiritually. Members have been arrested for murder plots and weapons offenses in the UK, US, Canada, and Australia. Several prosecutions involved active military personnel. They specifically target soldiers and law enforcement for recruitment. That's from court records. And because there's no central structure, you can't dismantle it. Researchers don't describe it as a group. They describe it as an ideology that recruits and spreads on its own. And it gets darker. The Children of God started in California in 1968. Its founder taught that sexual expression was a form of spiritual devotion. Survivors who grew up inside the group have described abuse that wasn't hidden, wasn't accidental, and wasn't the act of a few bad individuals. It was systematic, documented in the group's own internal publications, protected by leadership, for decades. The founder died in 1994. The group renamed itself the Family International and announced reforms. Former members say the culture didn't change, just the name. It still operates internationally. South America, Asia, parts of Africa. Legal cases are still being filed. And its leadership has never faced criminal accountability at the organizational level. Not once. This next one, people watched it happen in real time, and still couldn't stop it. Amy Carlson told her followers she was a 19-billion-year-old alien goddess, the simultaneous reincarnation of Jesus, Marilyn Monroe, and Cleopatra. Thousands of people believed her. They sold supplements, charged for spiritual counseling, and people sent money, regularly. When authorities entered her home in Colorado, they found her mummified body dressed in fairy lights and glitter, surrounded by followers who had not reported her death. Several members were charged. The charges were largely dropped. The group didn't dissolve. It fragmented. New leaders emerged. The live streams continued under different names. Researchers documented active communities still selling products and recruiting as recently as 2023. This next one didn't look like a cult at all. It had a waiting list. The leader is in prison, serving life plus 20 years. His church never stopped. Warren Jeffs is in a Texas prison right now. Serving life plus 20 years. His church is still running. The FLDS arranged marriages between older men and girls as young as 12. Jeffs controlled housing, food, finances, and movement entirely. Men he considered threats were expelled overnight, separated from their families on the spot. Members called it being reassigned. Jeffs was arrested in 2006, convicted in 2011. From inside his prison cell, he has continued issuing written directives to followers, smuggled out through intermediaries, and people are still following them. Estimates put current membership between 5,000 and 10,000 people across the US and Canada. Former members describe ongoing arranged marriages involving minors, right now. This next one didn't look like a cult at all. It had a waiting list. NXIVM was presented as executive coaching, personal development, life skills. It operated openly for nearly 2 decades. Members included celebrities and executives. It had a waiting list. Beneath the surface, founder Keith Raniere had built a secret inner group. Women recruited into it were required to provide collateral before being told what they were joining, compromising photographs, damaging information about family members, financial assets, all held as leverage. Women were branded with Raniere's initials using a cauterizing pen. Raniere is currently serving 120 years in prison, but former high-ranking members are still defending him publicly. Groups connected to NXIVM have been documented rebuilding the program under different names. Cult recovery researchers issued a warning. The recruitment methods are identical. Only the name has changed. This one hides behind good food and friendly service. The 12 Tribes operates communal farms, cafes, and a chain of restaurants called Yellow Deli. The food is considered good. The staff are polite. Most customers walk out with no idea who they just bought from. Former members describe something very different inside. Children homeschooled and kept entirely separated from the outside world. The group believes the Bible requires children to be physically disciplined with thin rods. In 2013, German authorities raided a community in Bavaria after a journalist went undercover. Hidden camera footage showed adults striking young children routinely. Officials removed 40 children. Many were eventually returned. The communities kept operating. Today, the group maintains settlements in at least 12 countries. Their restaurants are still open, and their children are still being raised entirely inside. Scientology is one of the most legally protected organizations on this list, and one of the most aggressive. Founded in the 1950s, it holds full religious status in the United States, giving it tax protections most organizations could never access. Germany, France, and Russia treat it as a commercial enterprise or extremist organization. Members advance through a tiered system of levels. Each level requires payment. The fees increase at every stage. Former members have described spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, only to reach the upper levels and be told the full doctrine, which involves a cosmic story about an alien ruler. But what makes Scientology particularly disturbing is what happens when you try to leave. The organization practices disconnection, requiring members to cut off all contact with anyone who criticizes the church. Parents have permanently lost contact with their children. Siblings haven't spoken in decades. They also operate an internal disciplinary program. Former members describe hard labor, restricted movement, and daily interrogation-style sessions lasting hours. It is not hiding. It is operating openly, right now. Members bring AR-15 rifles to church as an act of worship. Rod of Iron Ministries is based in Pennsylvania. Its theology is centered on the Second Amendment. The group teaches that arming yourself isn't just a right. It's a sacred religious duty. Its leader has spoken publicly about a coming apocalyptic conflict in which his followers will be called to fight. The church has ties to QAnon ideology. It conducts training retreats with a militia-style structure. Extremism researchers and law enforcement have flagged the combination of religious authority, weapons culture, and apocalyptic expectation as increasingly concerning. Rod of Iron Ministries is a legal organization. It holds church services. It runs a media operation. It is growing. Every group on this list is active right now. Not in a history textbook, not in a documentary about the past. Some of them are in your country, some of them have locations in your city. The Order of Nine Angles has no address. 12 Tribes has a restaurant near you. NXIVM rebuilt itself under a different name. And Warren Jeffs is still running his church from a prison cell. That's not the disturbing part. The disturbing part is that every single one of them is still recruiting. And most of them, you'd walk right past without ever knowing. The Order of Nine Angles has no compound, no leader, no address you could look up. NXIVM rebuilt itself under a different name. And Warren Jeffs is still running his church from a prison cell.